great pleasure to have Rachel Cosgrove in here. Rachel's a colleague. We've been working together for, I don't know, 3-4 years at a conference called Perform. About 2 years ago, Rachel started the never-ending project of writing a book. And as you know, writing a book is a lot of work, and she sunk her teeth into it and did a phenomenal job. And she's on a media circuit now and had other gigs early this morning on the TV and radio. Rachel is an awesome trainer and strength and conditioning coach and works with a lot of women as well as guys, but a lot of women in different female hormones and weight loss, the mental, emotional, physical aspects that all go hand in hand. Has the mind-body aspect as well as the physical aspect. We have a great staff here at Fitness Quest 10, but anytime we can bring other experts on as well and to share their knowledge. And she has a great book that if you want to take a peek at that, we've got some copies. She can sign those for you. But it brings me great pleasure to have Rachel Cosgrove here today. Rachel?
Thank you.
Yeah, Brett. Yeah, Brett. Smart man.
But this is my passion, is to speak to women like yourselves and help you guys to make what I call a breakthrough. I hope today, while I'm speaking, you'll have an aha moment or a breakthrough, and that's kind of one of those things where you go, oh, I get it. That's why this hasn't been working. So how many of you are currently working out, doing some kind of workout? Maybe you're a member here. Awesome. Okay. So, and how many of you have maybe a pair of jeans in your closet that you would love to fit into? Okay, we got a few jumping up and down hands. Okay. Good. Well, what I'm going to talk about today, I'm hoping will give you that breakthrough, that aha, to get into those jeans. Sound like a plan? Okay. So, first thing I want to talk about, the book is everything. Everything like he said, I spent 2 years and just said, you know what, here it all is, blah, this is my story, this is my clients' stories, and as I was writing it, really, I was first approached to write a book about strength training for women, and that, they wanted me to write this book about basically the exercise program for females, and as I started to write it, and they said, it'd be great if you, put some of your own client stories in there with the exercise program. And I thought, okay, well, that'll be good. That's motivational for people to read. So I started gathering stories from my clients, and we ended up with like 20 to 25 stories in there. And I started to think about it and realized, the women who really made that change long term and, lost the weight, lost the clothing sizes, and were able to do it and keep it off long term and really change their bodies for their life, were the ones who were able to change their mindset. So quickly, basically, if you had, I like to think about it like a stool. So a 3-legged stool. We have 3 legs on the stool. One of those legs, okay, is going to be your exercise. Getting the right exercise, prioritizing the right exercise, and making sure it's effective and it's working. Okay, and I'm going to talk about that today. We also have nutrition, okay, making sure you are fueling your body, and that's the key to that. And then we have your mindset. So the problem is if one of these is off kilter, okay, your stool is not going to be stable. Okay? And in order for us to step on the stool and make progress, we have to have all 3 of these in place. Okay? So right now, I just want each of you to kind of think through which one of these are you missing. And there's probably one that's, that's maybe it's all of them. Maybe it's all of them. But just as I talk today and as I go through each of these, think about that, so that you can really maybe make that breakthrough with the one leg on your stool that you're missing, because that's the place that you're going to be. It's like you maybe you always get your workouts done, you always come to the gym, you always get it done, you're really consistent, but that nutrition part, that's just tough. Like maybe just that all day long you have this negative dialogue going on in your head, and that's what's really halting your progress. Okay, is to shift your paradigms with exercise. And most women, when they start an exercise program, maybe they have their jeans they want to get into, and it's like, oh, I really want to get into those jeans. So what do? First thing they do, they head out the door and start running or start walking. Now, that's great because you're doing something, you're taking action, which is absolutely, that's what you need to do. The problem is heading out for a mile run or a mile walk is about 1,500 repetitions on each leg. Okay, now if you came in and I was your trainer and I said, okay, let's do 1,500 lunges. You'd look at me like I was nuts, right? Okay. So why is it that most people think that that's day 1, step 1 for their exercise program? Okay? Now I'm not against running and walking, but I just think there's a priority that we need to place on some kind of strength training or something that's actually going to boost your metabolism. So here's what I want you to think about. We want an exercise that's going to increase your metabolism, okay, for the long term. machine, right? So we can actually fuel our body and eat more and not deprive ourselves. Okay? You also want an exercise that's going to give you what we call an afterburn effect, which is basically after the workout, for the next 24 to 48 hours, you're actually going to get a boost in your metabolism, okay? For that next, because you worked out that morning, that next day or two, you're actually going to have an increase in your metabolism, okay? And then you're also going to get the benefits of burning calories during the workout.
Kenyon, I was in the contest.
Okay.
And one thing that I've not given up, because I don't want to deprive myself, ice cream at nighttime is always my huge thing. But
Okay.
I bought this
Actually, I didn't tell you.
fat-free, sugar-free,
Yeah.
God knows
It's
what's
not
in
ice
it.
cream.
Whatever it is, it tastes good. This one brand,
Is
this
it
one
Breyers?
flavor.
No, that has
I think it's a store brand, but it's cinnamon something.
Okay, well, let me talk a little bit about, I didn't actually get into that. I am a big believer in the 90% rule, okay, because this is for life. And the 90% rule is basically 90% of the time you need to follow the rules I was talking about, okay? 10% of the time, give yourself full, you go for it. Like, have what you want, have what you're craving. Now, what does that look like? That's, if you're eating 5 meals a day, 7 days a week, that's 35 meals a week, okay? So, 10% of those meals, plan to what I call splurge, okay? You're not the girl on the diet, right? Like, it seems to be the girl that shows up for dinner or whatever it is, and you're like, oh, I'm on a diet, I'll have salad, and no, I don't want any wine, and you know, no, you don't want to be that girl. You want to be the girl that looks hot in your jeans, feeling good about yourself, and you order dessert and you order wine, right? And everybody's, in my book I talk about, it's the new definition of, because what would you call that girl, right? If you saw a girl who looks amazing, right? She looks great, she's wearing her clothes, you what? You bitch, right? So I have a new definition for the word bitch. It's to be inspiring, totally confident, and hot. Okay? So that's your goal. You want to be the bitch. You want to be the girl that all the other women are like, what's the deal? Like, she's ordering dessert and she looks good in her jeans? Like, that sucks, right? What a bitch. Okay? And you're going to be like, well, thank you. Actually, yeah, I am. Okay? So that's what we want to be. We want to be the bitch. Be inspiring, totally confident, and hot. And that's actually in the book. So that's the goal, is not to necessarily be on this strict diet 100% of the time, all the time. You can't do it. You can't do it long term. It's not going to, you'll end up, this black and white thinking that creates this, where you end up binging, and then you end up going on these strict diets, and then you end up yo-yoing, and it's like never ending. And that's where the mental dialogue and everything, is really going to be damaging long term. So instead, getting a healthy mindset, realizing you can splurge, enjoy yourself, not feel guilty about it, and become the bitch.